Hello and welcome to I Am Movies. Have you heard of a superhero that people don't love? Well, meet John Hancock, a flawed hero with an extraordinary gift. He possesses superhuman powers that are beyond anyone's imagination. Supersonic flight, invulnerability, immortality, and incredible strength. But there's a catch. He's also a heavy drinker with a cynical attitude. Despite his flaws, Hancock uses his powers to rescue people and stop criminals, but his actions often result in millions of dollars in property damage due to his constant intoxication. The public jeers him, and the LAPD considers him a nuisance. Despite the city of Los Angeles filing court subpoenas and lawsuits against him to address the damage he has caused, Hancock chooses to ignore them. Will he learn to control his impulses and become the hero the city needs, or will his destructive behavior continue to be his downfall? The fate of the city rests in his hands. The movie begins in Los Angeles as some criminals are trying to get away from the cops after a robbery operation. Meanwhile, Hancock, the city's superhero, lies asleep. What kind of superhero is he? A kid walks up and wakes him up. He hushed the kid, who in turn called him an arsehole. Hancock stood up and grabbed a bottle of alcohol, put on his shades, and, oh men, he looked ready to deal with some criminals. He took off in the air like every superhero, but he was slightly different. He destroyed some properties as he pursued the criminals, and when he caught up with them, it was a disaster as he slammed their car into a building. His save caused more harm than good in the city as he tried to get the criminals to surrender. Later that night, Hancock watched the news in a clubhouse as the damages he had caused to the city were announced. He doesn't look like he gives a damn. Two girls walked into the club and one showed deep interest in Hancock. She wanted to know how he felt when he flew, if you know what I mean. So she followed him to his house. She followed him to his abode. She kept advancing, pushing him over the edge. She couldn't handle it. Even the house itself couldn't take it, as the whole place shook. She runs off, and we know that Hancock possesses incredible powers. The following day, we are introduced to Ray Embry, a corporate public relations consultant. He is pitching his all-heart logo to corporations that want to be seen as charitable. The businessmen don't buy his idea, and he heads home. Things are about to go bad for Ray, as he soon gets trapped on railroad tracks. His life seemed to have ended at that moment, as he tried vainly to leave the train track. An incoming freight train approaches Ray's vehicle, and seeing he can't do anything, Ray prays his dying prayers. But Hancock shows up and saves his life, at the cost of derailing the train with his body and damaging other cars. Amidst chaos on the road, Hancock is jeered by other drivers. Ray steps in and thanks Hancock for saving his life, shifting the mood from hatred to gratitude. Ray took Hancock to his house and introduced him to his wife, Mary, and their son, Aaron. Mary doesn't seem to like Hancock a bit, and she made that evident while they ate. Ray wants to change how people feel about Hancock, and he tells him that. But Mary doesn't support the idea because she feels he is not a responsible superhero. When Hancock visited Ray's place the next day, a kid called him an arsehole. That's a heavy word for the kid, though. Hancock warns the kid, and when the kid repeats it, Hancock teaches him a lesson the hard way. He flings the kid up and catches him when he comes flying down. I'm sure this kid will know better than insulting a superhero. Ray took him inside and showed him all the videos posted of him online. He wanted to make Hancock see why people don't like his attitude. Ray told Hancock of his plan to make him better and change how the people of LA view him. But Hancock is less concerned and tries to grab a bottle of alcohol. When Ray tries to take it from him, Hancock lifts him, but Mary walks in now. Sensing what their discussion could be about, Mary puts on the television, where a news announcement is being made. The LAPD had considered Hancock a nuisance. They demanded he turns himself in. What was the crime committed? Hancock's activities inadvertently caused millions of dollars in property damage due to his constant intoxication and cynical attitude. Ray then seizes the opportunity to try and make him see reasons why he could do better. He tries to convince Hancock to turn himself in. He explains that when Hancock goes to prison, the people of LA will see his importance when crime rates increase. He plans to show the government that Hancock is helpful to the city. Ray was able to convince Hancock to turn himself in. Hancock gives his apology speech to the general public. Even though he doesn't look sorry, Ray is happy Hancock is already on the path to changing certain things. After the speech, Hancock is taken to prison alongside other criminals. As they alighted from the van, Hancock was in the front, so as he moved forward, the rest of the prisoners came down with him, and I'm sure this prison stay will be a wild one. Well, some people will want to know what Hancock is made of. Some prisoners who are bullied challenge Hancock. Knowing they wanted a fight, Hancock asked them to leave his face. But when they refused, Hancock grabbed the head of the little one and stuck it into the big guy, who sees himself as a god in prison. The whole prison went up in shouts here and there. Ray came to visit him when he heard the news. Then he informs Hancock that if he doesn't behave himself, the government is ready to extend his sentence by 8 years. Hancock got angry, and the next minute he was prepared to break the prison and leave. But Ray was able to make him stay back. The following days in prison aren't so bad. Ray teaches Hancock to behave like a real superhero since he believes the government will soon come for him. Ray plays basketball and listens to people share their breakthrough moments. One day, Mary visited him and brought him some meatballs alongside Aaron. Another day, Ray showed him the new clothes he would wear whenever he went for a superhero save. And one day, Hancock was called on by the government. As Ray predicted, the crime rate has risen and the government can't handle it. Hancock shaved his beard and was released. Dressed in the new clothes Ray had provided, Hancock was released, and he took off for the place where his help was needed. It was a bank robbery operation. The lead robber held some people hostage inside. His other accomplices exchanged gunshots with the cops outside, and one was injured. Hancock arrives on the scene, but his arrival is different this time. Nothing was damaged upon his arrival. He saved the injured officer and went into the bank to meet Red Parker, who had led the operation. He tried negotiating with Red, but the robber had wicked intentions. He wanted to use the hostage as bait to get the money he came for. He showed Hancock the detonator in his house and then promised to kill the stage if Hancock didn't do what he said. But Parker takes things too far by calling him arsehole. Hancock doesn't like that word, and when Parker repeats it, Hancock shows him the most uncomplicated way things are done. Hancock came out with Parker's hand holding the detonator. The hostages were all free, and the people applauded him. Just as Ray had predicted, Hancock was loved by the people. He goes out for dinner with Ray and Mary. Come on, take a look at our superhero. He looks cute in that suit, men. While they ate, Ray asked Hancock about his past, and Hancock revealed his immortality and amnesia from 80 years ago. Well, due to his superhero power, he doesn't age. As he speaks, Mary acts quite sober and apologizes to him. After dinner, Hancock tucks a drunken Ray in bed and then makes to leave for the night, but things are just about to take a nasty turn. Hancock moved closer to Mary, and not long after, they kissed. But all of a sudden, Mary shoves Hancock across the house. Where did that strength come from? I am damn speechless, and so was Hancock. Mary approached him and told him that her husband must not find out what had happened. The shock on Hancock's face is relatable. The following day, when Ray woke up, he was shocked by the damage. Mary told him Hancock sneezed, which was the cause of the broken wall and damage to cars outside. Ray was shocked and was like, Hancock sneezed? Well, Hancock walked in at this moment, but before they could talk for long, Ray had to pick up the phone, and then Hancock did so many crazy things to confirm that Mary had superpowers. He demanded answers from her, and she agreed to tell him who she was, but he would leave her family after that. Meanwhile, at the prison courtyard, Red Parker is discussing with the two inmates Hancock had dealt with. They plan on taking revenge on Hancock. In the midst of all the chaos and destruction, Mary pays Hancock a visit at the trailers. As they converse, Mary reveals a shocking truth to Hancock. She tells him that they have been alive for 3,000 years and have been worshipped as gods and angels. Moreover, she informs him that they are the last of their kind and are meant to be paired. However, Mary does not divulge the entire truth, and Hancock decides to leave to inform Ray about the conversation. But things take a dramatic turn as a battle ensues between Hancock and Mary. The battle takes them to downtown Los Angeles, and the damage caused is monumental. As the battle rages on, Ray is downtown in a business meeting when he notices something peculiar. He sees a woman with abilities like Hancock's causing destruction in the area, and to his surprise, he recognizes her as his wife, Mary. After a series of events, Hancock finds himself back at Ray and Mary's house. It's then that Mary reveals something mind-blowing. She and Hancock are technically married. According to her, they were built in pairs and are drawn to each other over time and great distances. However, things take a dangerous turn as Hancock intervenes in a liquor store robbery and ends up getting shot and wounded. In a visit to the hospital, Mary reveals another startling truth. When two immortals get physically close to each other, they begin to lose their powers. Furthermore, she tells Hancock that they have been attacked a couple of times throughout history, with the most recent attack taking place in an alley in Miami 80 years ago. During the attack, Hancock's skull was fractured, causing amnesia. Mary deserted him to save his life, allowing him to recover from his injuries. As Mary finishes explaining the truth to Hancock, their conversation is interrupted by the unexpected arrival of Red Parker, the bank robber, and two other criminals whom Hancock encountered while imprisoned. Mary is shot while trying to defend Hancock, and in the ensuing chaos, Hancock eliminates the two henchmen, but is further wounded in the process. Just when things couldn't get worse, Red Parker attempts to finish off Hancock, but Ray jumps in to save the day. Armed with a fire axe, Ray stops the bank robber, but the damage has been done. Mary is dying, and Hancock realizes that the only way for them both to heal is to part ways. With the last of his strength, Hancock flees from the hospital and relocates to New York City, where he continues to work as a superhero. In a gesture of gratitude towards Ray, Hancock paints Ray's all-heart logo on the moon, giving worldwide advertisement to his cause. That brings us to the end of this recap. We'll love to hear your feedback. Kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons to get updates from us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.